Good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday to me. I have tomorrow off. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 327. And when I say I have tomorrow off, I will most likely be live with you tomorrow morning for episode 328 before I head down to the promised land that is known as Wrigleyville. And I'll be at Wrigley Field for the Cubs Cardinals game, 121st pitch. I'm going to update the Cubs cardometer, and I need to update. So my old cardometer in retirement, the old Cubs cardometer made its final public appearance at spring training 2020, just ahead of the pandemic. So that's retired. The new cardometer has been out and about at the Madison Card Show. I think I had it for Rockford. I can't remember, but I'll be wearing it as a sandwich board in Wrigleyville tomorrow. And then I'll take it to the card show in Schaumburg on Sunday. What's up, Zach? Good morning, Dan. Happy Thursday. Today I've got a lot to talk about. Yesterday morning, I'm like, I don't know if I'll go live tomorrow. I don't know if I have anything to talk about. But I do, because I finally got around to opening some packages, Cubs cards from the last couple weeks, updated my card count. I'll show off a couple that I found interesting. I'm going to talk about a bike trip that I have planned. My first big bike trip that I have planned. I'll talk about that. And some bad news. Another bad eBayer. If you saw my Twitter last night, I had an issue with an eBay. I could call him a buyer, but he never pays. An eBay user that not only have I had multiple issues with, others have as well. And I found a couple different strings on the blowout forums. So I'll talk about Gotham City Sports Cards, the eBay user, beware. And inspired by Brad, I don't get to listen to Brad live in the mornings, but I do watch when I get home as I'm doing shipping. I wanted to take a look at my eBay numbers because when I last talked about the impressions and my sales numbers, we still didn't know, is this because of the item specifics that eBay's changing? Is it because it's summer? I think it has, I think all of that. It's not just this is the problem. I think there's, multiple issues going on. So I just wanted to run the numbers and take a look and see, how far down are my eBay statistics. So I jotted those down this morning. Oh, by the way, I did sell another one of the boxes that I bought at my show. I sold the 93 Leaf Series 2 box. This sold for $35, which is what I paid for all 6 wax boxes. So I've now sold 2 of those. They came to my booth. Young man, probably early 20s, late teens, said, how about I just want to get rid of them? And I said, I'm not interested. He said, how about $35? And I said, okay, I'm interested at that price. So I sold a 91 Donruss. That was the first to sell, which I didn't think would sell at all. It was only $22 shipped, which nets me about $5. But that's about what I thought I could. If I sold it at a card show, that's probably what it's selling for. So my gross sales, $57 on those 2 boxes. But my net, now I haven't shipped that box. The 91 Donruss unfortunately went to the West Coast, so it's $3 more on the priority end. So I had to go medium flat rate. So assuming medium flat rate on that, I don't know where the buyer is from, but I just put that into the numbers. My net sales, $23, but that could go up to 25 or 26 depending on, if it's in Wisconsin or Illinois, the shipping is going to be about $3 less. So right around $25 net sales. On $35, I still have the most valuable, and that's the Leaf Update from 93 with the Frank Thomas 5x7 possible autograph, I think maybe in that box. And then the 91 Bowman Rack Pack box, which I haven't seen any comps for. I don't have that listed on eBay. And then there was a couple other just random sets thrown in. So for doing no work, I'll make a few bucks. I don't know. I'll come out ahead 30 or 40 bucks when it's all said and done. Actually, probably more than that because those 2 boxes that I haven't sold are probably will sell for the most. Let's just get out my bike trip out of the way. So I bought an e-bike several months ago. It's something that I've been wanting for 2 years. I've been like on e-bike websites, just shopping around and, comparing prices. Finally bought one. I love it. I'm glad I waited so I could like get a really nice one. Long battery power. Been buying accessories for it. I've been going out on rides. The first couple rides, like it was like, oh man, this is, it's almost like a motorcycle. It's 80 pounds. So I think Herman mentioned it's like a dirt bike. It is very heavy. So I wanted to get used to the roads. I wanted to get used to the bike itself before I planned like any trips. So I did some longer trips in my area, got used to it. Now I feel pretty comfortable on it. So I am biking to New Glarus, which is the route I'm taking. And I downloaded a bike map. That's what it's called, bike map on the app. And it maps your rides based on bike friendly roads, and not all of them are going to be bike friendly, but New Glarus was kind of one of those things where it's like it's within shot of my battery power, although it's going to be kind of iffy, but it's like 24 miles one way, and there are some nasty hills between. That's why I wanted an e-bike, the little assist. So I've mapped that out. I think I'm going to do that next Saturday. So I talked to my wife. Hey, do we have any plans? I want to do this bike trip. I bought saddlebags, Amazon Prime. Like I was never a big Amazon Prime person until like recently. What's up, David? Good morning, Herman. And now I love it. And it's, I'm not on there every day or even every week. But if something pops up, it's like Amazon has it, and they usually do. So the saddlebags came in yesterday, put them on, they fit great. I put my battery charger in there. I put my bike lock in there. I can put like a small cooler in there. So my bike trip, coming up, in just over a week. Let's get to the eBay stuff. Zach says, good thing you were married because that sandwich board may not be the aphrodisiac we think it is. So a couple months ago, I ran into an issue with an eBay user named Gotham City Sports Cards. He bought 4 cards, but they were in separate transactions, but within a very short period of time, within like a day of each other. Like once I shipped a card, he would buy another card, and they were all low dollar cards, shipped PWE, which is in the item description, free shipping. 2 of those 4 he claimed he did not receive, and I thought that was odd. When the second one, usually I don't notice, and we know how the post office has been in the last year now. I didn't think much of it until the second one popped up, and I recognized the name. This is peculiar. This is weird. And then I looked at, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this guy. He bought $3 cards, but like a day apart, and didn't buy another card until the previous one was shipped. Because if people buy multiple cards, I'll ship them in a bubble mailer with tracking. So these are shipped PWE, not with the tracking, because they're lower dollar cards, but with the stamps. He claimed not received on 2 of 4, and one of them, what really always catches my eye is how the person communicates. What's up, Jenny? Good morning. And he communicated, haven't received, send refund ASAP. And it's like, okay, that always, the red lights are always flashing when the communication is like that. So piqued my interest. I kind of made a mental note in my head. I'm not a big blocker. Like I don't block people on Twitter. I don't block. I have a significant eBay block list now. But it's got to be like repeat offenders. If somebody claims item not received, I don't block right away. I always give a second chance because the USPS does kind of suck sometimes. So I take it with a grain of salt. But if there's multiple instances, or sometimes if I do see a communication that's like that, I'll pop their eBay username in the Google search, see if anybody else is talking about them. And if there is a record of this sort of thing happening multiple times, then they go to the block list. So 2 out of 4 transactions not received. Wants the refund. Refund granted. Moving on. Now, the same, fast forward a month. ASAP is not a true measure of time. Hate it. Zach, I am totally with you. I hate ASAP. I hate it. In fact, when I would get orders, and this was when I worked in radio, and we talked about this in staff meetings, I said, ASAP is, and I don't know if I use that wording, but basically it's not a measure of time. Like as soon as possible, that's subjective. Give me a deadline. So usually when orders came through, and there's usually like one person or 2 people that were always guilty of using ASAP. And some people use it differently. Some people use ASAP just because they want it right now. Some people use ASAP because it needs to be done yesterday. So I would repeat, like, please give me a deadline. If it needs to be done ASAP, let me know, how important it is when it needs to be done. And this is on like the production side when I was in radio. And, I said, if it says ASAP in the order, it's going to the bottom of my pile. Outside of like anything that needs to be done within like the next 2 days, that gets priority. ASAP goes to the bottom, ahead of like next week, but below the next couple days. Anyway, Zach, I'm with you. I hate ASAP. So, all of a sudden, Gotham City Sports Cards a month later sends me a message about a card. Now it's a higher dollar card, and he wants a better deal on it. And I can't remember how this first one went, but I think I extended an offer. He accepted and then didn't pay. So he reached out to me, asked for a discount. I said, I can't do that, but I can do this. Sent the offer accepted, didn't pay. Okay, that's annoying. He buys a card. He pays for the card. I send it. La-di-da, all good. So we're 1 for 2 on the second round with Gotham City Sports Cards. Card number 3 and maybe number 4, I can't remember one of them was Antonio Gomez, first chrome refractor auto. I think I had it listed for like $125. He wants it for like $50. And I said, no. I'll do $100. He's like $85 and I'll pay now. And that's another thing that I'll pay now. Come on. You should, unless it's an auction, just if you're going to accept an offer, like you're literally manually accepting the offer, you can also pay at the same time. So Antonio Gomez, chrome, it might've been a color, might've been purple. I can't remember, but, it'd been sitting in my store for a couple weeks, and it's like, I don't like holding on to these things. So it's like, okay, I'll do 85. Sent the offer accepted, didn't pay. It's like, we were just communicating, didn't pay. So I had been out of town that weekend. So I'm like, it's the weekend. I'll give it, till Monday. Monday, I say, hey, are you going to pay? When can I expect payment or whatever? No response. Followed up. I'm like, hey, are you going to pay? No response. Canceled the order. Did the item not received? It was right around the time when eBay stopped the item not received. And then I actually went out and I tweeted, hey, this Gotham City Sports Cards, beware, doesn't pay for items. And at that point, I forgot that he had also pulled the item not received on me a month prior, twice out of 4 orders. Gotham City Sports Cards. I'm going to keep repeating. I should have put it in the YouTube title. So all of a sudden, I didn't heed my own advice. I didn't block the guy. I should have. I get a message from him. I have a Bo Bichette purple. It's actually right. Is it right here? It's right here. Bo Bichette blue, numbered to 99, 2017 Heritage Miners. It's been in my store for a while, so I'll move it. I think it's at $50 or maybe $40. I think it's at $40 now. I dropped it. He's like, I'll give you $25. I'll pay now. And I'm like, oh, it's this guy again. I thought I blocked him. So I said no. And I went to the listing. This is what kind of annoys me. I went to the listing because somebody was watching it, and I always extend offers to watchers. So I'm like, it's probably Gotham City Sports Cards. So I'm going to go to the listing itself and change it to you must pay immediately, because I'm sick of this guy not paying. 3 out of 4 transactions, he sent an offer, accepted, and didn't pay. So I changed it in the listing. For whatever reason, it didn't stick. I send the offer, $35. So $5 off. Guess who accepts it? Gotham City Sports Cards accepts the offer at $35. No payment. Well, crap. For some reason, that you must pay right away didn't take in the eBay system. So there it sits. 2 days go by. Canceled the order. Now you can just cancel. You don't have to, I don't think you have to wait like 2 days anymore. And so I just put buyer asked to cancel, because I don't want it to be a strike against me. Buyer asked to cancel. I actually sent him a reminder after a day because I knew his track record. I'm like, hey, when can I expect payment? No response for a day. No response for a day. So I canceled the order. And about an hour later, I wanted to see if he would respond. No response. So then I was proactive and said, I canceled the order and I blocked you for repeated non-payment. And then he sends me this scathing message. All of a sudden, he responds right away. And so I posted that on Twitter. He called me. He said he was just getting ready to pay for it. He's been in the business for 30 years and knows everybody. And then he used like 5 exclamation points and LOL. So I know what type of intelligence I'm working with here, and said that nobody's going to buy from me ever again. So block him, Gotham City Sports Cards. He's an idiot, and you should block him on eBay. So with that said, on the good side, I got some Cubs cards in the mail over the last couple weeks. David, I finally opened the Cubs that you sent with the mega boxes, or with the Sapphire. So I opened those up, and I love the foil. I don't think I had this one. Javi Baez. Is this 2020 Topps Update Rainbow Foil? Very cool. Added to the Javi collection. Another box. I like this. Ballpark Icons. I've never seen this card. Wrigley Field, ivy-covered walls in Fenway Park. Pretty cool card. And on the back, I don't even know what set this is from. Former Cub Tommy La Stella. So this is pretty cool. This is from Topps. Is this Bunt? I don't know. It's 2020. Doesn't say. Ballpark. I'll have to look it up. Ballpark Icons. Speaking of icons, look at this card. Ernie Banks, 2000 Fleer, Ballpark Heroes. And he's in front of Wrigley Field. I love this picture. Wrigley's in black and white in the background with Ernie in the foreground in color. Beautiful card. Love Mr. Cub. How about these? I love these. The pop-ups. There were a couple of these in. You just put them in kind of like a square, and then how does it? You just pop them out. Pop-outs. I think that's the actual term. So we're gonna actually pop out the Hawk Andre Dawson here. So he pops out. They stand up, and there you go. Andre Dawson. Pop-up from 1987. Very cool. And this one just kind of stuck out to me. First Bowman Chrome, Brandon Geyer. And this kind of stuck out to me because Robinson Kirinos was re-signed by the Cubs a few days ago. He actually hit a home run the other day. Robinson Kirinos was in the Cubs organization for like 11 seasons in the minor leagues with the Cubs. He was dealt to Tampa Bay with Brandon Guyer, Hack-Ju Lee, and Chris Archer, and Sam Fuld in the Matt Garza trade back in 2011, 12, 13, somewhere in there. This is 2011, so it was probably 12 or 13. So Brandon Guyer was part of that trade. So that puts my Cubs collection now at 649,099. So we'll not get to 650,000 by Wrigley tomorrow. We'll see what the Schaumburg card show on Sunday brings. I'm on a buying hiatus, so I'm not buying anything until the National. Yesterday I saw on Twitter, Cracker Barrel has Bowman mega boxes. Somebody tweeted that they were at like the actual location, probably having a meal, and they saw Bowman mega packs. So the actual packs were on sale for $7, which is a steal. I would be sucking all of those up. So then somebody commented like, oh, or you can buy the whole box on their website, and you can. So I put in like quantity, and I'm like, I wonder if I can, how many I can order. By the way, the mega boxes are $40 on the website plus shipping. So that's a little more than what I was paying on the secondary market. But I was really tempted to buy like 50 of them, and I put 25 in the quantity, and it, like rang up like this is your total, but I didn't click buy. Because I'm on a hiatus. I have like 16 still unopened that I'm just going to save. Maybe in 2 years I'll regret not scooping up 200 of them. But right now it's like, nope, I'm focusing on Cubs and focusing on spending that money on Cubs at the National in 3 weeks. Top sticker collection, I believe. My son is still into them every year. Awesome. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, my eBay numbers. So I took a look at this morning, and I knew my numbers were down, and that's, there's actually, and I said at the beginning of the show that, it's part like the hobby's down a little bit, and part of that reason is because, hey, we can go to games again. Last year at this time, I wasn't preparing to go down to Wrigley and spend a day in Chicago and then go to a card show on Sunday, or planning a bike trip to New Glarus. If I had a bike last year, I would have rode around, but I wouldn't have a destination because I couldn't go anywhere, physical locations. They were all closed. So like there's all of these other things that are taking even the craziest of collectors like myself and others that may be watching. And we're doing things that, last year we were just in our basements playing with cards. So I knew that part of that, part of the decline is now we have activities to do, which, we all knew was going to happen. We were going to get back to normal life. So with that, like I was listing less, and I have like under 3,000 listings in my store. I think my peak listing count after using File Exchange back in like March, I think I got up to like 4,200 listings, and then that went down because I was selling way more than what I was able to list, which was a good and a bad thing. It was taking up a lot of time. I ended up having a lot of just single 99-cent transactions, which the goal was to sell a lot of 99-cent cards to the same person, not in 100 different transactions. So I knew that, part of this was, opening up. Part of it was on me just not listing as many items. In May, eBay started tweaking with the item specifics, and I thought that may have had a great factor into it. But as I look at my own numbers, and I went back to March because I think March probably would have been my peak. I went back, and it's not all that staggering now as I put all these numbers together, because there's an obvious decline here, but it's not as pronounced as I expected it to be. So in March, I had 7.5 million impressions with 791 items sold. April was still humming along, 6.8 million impressions, but my sold volume went down to 492. Now, April's kind of when I started scaling back listing. March was really when I was pumping it. First quarter, I was focused on pumping as much volume into my eBay store as possible. So 7.5, 6.8. May drops to 5.1 million impressions. Sold items didn't drop down as much, as dramatically. Still in the 400s at 409 items sold in May. Now June, I go back to the office, so I lose several hours a day, or several hours a week, just in driving back and forth. More things are opening up, doing more. So June drops to 3.7 million. So I go from 7.5, 6.8, 5.1 to 3.7 million impressions. And my numbers on sold items drop big time as well. 320 sold. And when I see those, when I saw those numbers in real time, it's like there's got to be more to it than just the world opening up. It's got to be like the item specifics, and I think maybe that did have something to do with it, because it did drop more dramatically than the drops from April to May and March to April. So then I looked at my July numbers. July's actually tracking a little better than what June ranked. So through 1 week in July, I'm at 1 million impressions. So on track for 4 million, which would just be a tick above my June numbers. And I'm at 82 sold in July. So that's, what is that? 300 and what's 80 times 4? 320. So about 330, on track for about 330. So just a slight tick above on the sold. I've been running some auctions. So I think I have like 80 ending this week. So that's going to bump it up a little bit. That'll skew the numbers. And depending on how many more auctions I run this month, July should beat June. So I found those numbers interesting. I haven't really taken a look at those in a while. A couple minutes left, and then I've got to run. Zach says, random question, is your collection insured? So my collection is not insured. It's something I have been looking into. Insurance is so weird, and with baseball cards, it's I don't know, it's difficult. Like when I've talked to like insurance people, they've kind of just, I haven't felt, my insurance guy hasn't given me that impression that it's worth it. So it's, as I continue to build the collection more and more, it's something that I will look into. Now, you may see that I'm in a basement, and that like should spook you with, 2 million total cards in a basement. So this basement, and I think I've talked about this in the past, and I blogged a couple items about it. It washed out our card shop, 3 years ago in 2018. So we had like 16 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, caused massive flooding in this area. We did not get a drip of water in this basement. So, Dan, it's under like home insurance, and it's very like the payout. It's not like, yeah, my collection is worth X amount and you're going to be insured for X amount. It's like, it's a very small percent. There's contingencies. It's at this time, I don't feel it's worth, my collection is growing in value now. Where, a couple of years ago, it was just, if I lost it all, yeah, I would be sad, but I'd be more sad just for the card's sake, not for like the monetary value. Now it's building in monetary value. So it would be like, oh shoot, I lost a lot of money. But it's not like you insure it for X amount, and if a fire wipes out your collection, you're going to get paid that money. It's insurance, and if you've ever dealt with insurance, I saw the line on my home insurance regarding antiques and collectibles. I believe it was not covered in a basic policy. Yeah, it's got to be a rider. It's got to be like an antiques and collectibles, or whatever wording they use. So it's a rider to your basic policy. I'm pretty comfortable with, as long as our sump pump keeps working. And yes, I do check it I'm kind of anal about checking it to make sure that it's working properly. And yeah, so 15, 16 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, not a drop of water in this basement. So I was pretty happy about that. Herman picked up a quarter of 72 set needs last night. Very cool. If anybody's working on the 71 set, let me know. I've been my buddy Dave we do the national. So I've bought now in 2 auctions. And half of the first auction, I'm just like, don't ship it, because it was a couple of uncut sheets of 89 tops, a bunch of old baseball card magazines, some oddball cards that he couldn't fit in the box. He's had it for like a year and a half. So it's going to be like a bonus national for me, because I'm going to get that stuff. And in the most recent auction that ended a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember what I even bought. One thing I did buy was like 300 or 400 71 tops cards. So if anybody's building a 71 tops set, I'll at the end of the month, I'll get those. He'll bring them up to the national. And now that I think about it, like I think that was the only like big item that I won in this particular auction. Herman needs the Braves. You got it. There were, I think I won like 4 or 5 items. And now it's like, now that I think about it, it's like, oh, I should go check to see what I won. I want to be surprised. So when we meet up at the National on Wednesday, July 28th, and it's like, here's your stuff. And it's going to be like free stuff. Like, wow, I paid for this so long ago, and now I don't even remember what I bought. So I think I'm just going to keep myself in the dark and just be surprised at the end of the month. So yeah, I do know there's several hundred 71 tops commons, 71 tops baseball commons that I bought. So it's past 7:15, so I've got to run. Have a great Thursday. I will be live tomorrow morning. I probably will sleep in just a little bit. I'll probably hit the road. What time? 8. I'll probably hit the road at 8 a.m. So actually it might be around the same time, 6:45, 7 a.m. for tomorrow's show. So I will go live tomorrow morning. I will not be live on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And then Monday, I'll probably be pretty exhausted. So I might sleep in Monday. So I'm not sure, but follow me on Twitter at 1,000,000Cubs. I'll have all the fun updates from Wrigley tomorrow and the card show in Schaumburg on Sunday. Have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll talk tomorrow.